going to be what it is. All right, here we go.
Welcome to Wood Talk for woodworkers by woodworkers. Now here are three guys who are actually under the illusion that woodworking is cool. Mark, Matt, and Shannon.
All right, it's Wood Talk number 337, and I think Matt forgot to adjust the number in the show notes. That's what you get for doing it late.
I didn't do the tabs.
Okay, yeah.
It was my fault.
Okay.
That's only because Matt didn't do his job.
It's Matt's job.
I had to fill in for him.
That's how he earns his monies, baby.
Yeah,
So
I haven't
this is
gotten
called-
the training yet.
This is called cross training. I was gonna say.
Yeah, something like that. So it is number 337, and the date today is what? The 21st, November 21st, and Thanksgiving is quickly going to be upon us, which is awesome. So on today's show, we're talking about oil finishes in a low-powered turbine, installing opposing drawer slides, and notching corners. Before we get to that, let's thank a few special people who helped us out. These folks went to patreon.com/woodtalk and signed up to send us a few bucks every month to help us do this show. Steve LaRue, Eric Schneider, Eric Latham, Jason Burr, Kenneth Keelan, David Smiley, and Michael Brindle at M13 Workshop. All those folks went over there, they picked a pledge amount, and they got some free stuff in exchange for it. You can get some free content, like the extra show that we do at the end of the regular show, which is kind of cool. And don't forget, you could sign up for the Patreon RSS feeds, which is great, because you not only get our regular show, the weekend show, and the email extra all in one feed, and you could put that into any standard podcast subscription dealy whacker that you might be interested in.
That's a lot of content.
It really is. It's almost too much, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Think we need to
Might
back it
actually
down.
drive people away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of bad. So, hold on. Our levels are a little bit high. Technical difficulty. Still in a new place here. All right. So thank you, everybody. And if you want to help out too, you can. Just go to patreon.com/woodtalk. We really appreciate it. And I think we can get to what's on the bench right now. And for me, I still don't have a bench. Everything's still piled in the middle of this garage. Hasn't necessarily been like, this tool goes here, that tool goes there. But, I'm getting there. We'll get there soon. So, but I did make a decision on the order that things are going to occur. First of all, I am not going to end up with a master shop, everything master planned and done within a couple of weeks. That was what was in my head. Okay, we'll do the flooring, we'll get those walls put up, I'll just get everything laid out perfectly. And it's that's just, it's not really a realistic way to do it, because number one, I don't have enough money, which is that's kind of a big, powerful thing to stop me. So, the Honda money ran out.
I say you slept all over it too much.
Yeah, it got me this house. I guess that's good enough. But seriously, there isn't enough money to do it all at once, and I just don't feel confident to do it all at once. I don't have all the information that I'm going to need to make the appropriate decisions for this thing. So here's what I am going to do. Number one, heater. I can get a heater installed. That's not going to impact anything later. It's just going to give me a more comfortable environment to work in. I can put my tools where they're going to go. So even though I don't have the flooring done yet, I can kind of figure out, even if there's a slope in the floor, who cares? I could still get work done. So I'm going to get the tools roughly laid out. That's going to tell me a lot about where I want things to go. Then I'm going to get temporary power put in. So a couple of circuits will be run. If I have to use extension cords, that's fine, but that will help me sort of facilitate the layout, making sure everything is where I want it to be. And then I'm going to do lights, because lights are going to be pretty important to the filming and just being able to see what I'm doing. And again, lights also won't interfere with much. So then from that point, I could probably do dust collection. And then all of the walls, the flooring, all that will come later. I think I just have so many questions to answer about layout. I just can't do them right away. So I think that will get me back to work faster, and I can start making videos and building projects quicker without it being perfect. It's just not going to be perfect for quite some time, and I think I'm okay with that at this point. I just kind of want to get back to work.
Yeah,
So
I get that. Well, if you need a phase converter, I think Matt will give you a deal.
Yeah. We got one of those
High
handy.
voltage one. I got one of those.
The reason it doesn't work is not because it's missing a part. It came that way.
I think I missed a video here.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit late, a little behind on my video watching.
That's okay. That was just yesterday. I think I posted that.
Okay.
I only bring it up because of the ongoing conversation we've had about what's going to go wrong with Matt's bandsaw mill.
Right.
Oh,
Watching
I have
his latest video. There was a wonderfully awkward 30 seconds where it's why doesn't it work?
Sweet.
Flip, click. Why doesn't it work?
You got to love
I had
that.
some strong words for Mark and his jinxing of my project.
My bad. I shouldn't have said anything.
So anyway, Matt, why don't you go ahead and say what's on the bench, since I led you in there.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Let me know what happened.
been working on the sawmill, and actually that issue that Shannon's talking about wasn't even like that. That was an issue, but it wasn't that big of an issue. So the VFD that I got for my drive motor, I got it off eBay. It was used, whatever. It didn't work. So
What's a
when I hooked up my
VFD?
VFD, variable frequency drive. If you have a lathe with like a potentiometer on it to change the variable speed on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if yours has that or not. I don't remember.
I don't know.
Mine does. So mine has a 3-phase motor on it, and then you can run single phase through a VFD, and you can get speed control with the VFD.
Oh,
But whatever.
wow.
It converts single phase to 3-phase, so you can run a 3-phase motor on single phase power.
Okay.
It's one of the many ways, many ways to get a 3-phase motor running in single phase.
Okay.
So I had that thing. It didn't work. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with this thing, because in theory, there's one cord in and one cord out, and there's a power button, and that should be it. But that's not exactly what happened with that. On the VFD that I got, it had a fried component on one of the circuit boards that I found inside the machine or inside the VFD that I pulled out. And luckily for me, I made the mistake of buying the wrong one first and not returning it. So I have this extra one that happened to have the same component in it. So luckily, I could just swap those things and get my VFD running. And that was just like the start of it. And it led me down this whole like rabbit hole of things that could possibly go wrong with those things, and how complicated they are to set up, and how little documentation there is about them, and blah, blah, blah. But that's not even like that big of a problem. This last week was like the worst week. And I was like out there, I'm like, damn you, Mark. How'd you say this to me?
You're welcome for the learning opportunity.
I was trying to mechanize my lift mechanism, and I literally had every single conceivable problem I could possibly have with that process.
Whoops.
So I had, like, I got the sprockets. I got the wrong size at at Fleet Farm. They had them mislabeled. I picked the wrong size, so I couldn't use those. I was trying to do it at night when it's like getting dark. I gotta get done with them the next like half hour, or else it's gonna be pitch black out. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll go. But I went back, got the right sprockets the next day, and then that was solved. And the next thing was like, what the heck happened next? Oh, and the VFD that I got for that motor to run the up and down mechanism didn't work, didn't come on. So I'm like, screw this. I threw that one aside. I hooked up the motor to my bigger VFD just to see if it worked. So it was able to drop the saw head down, and the saw head bottomed out on the bottom of the lifting screws. And then I reversed the direction of the motor. Supposedly, I have no idea if it actually reversed or not. And I tried to start the motor up again, and it wasn't going, and then bang, I killed the motor. I'm not sure if it was just too much for it to lift, or if it was actually still in the other direction, trying to push the saw head down, or it couldn't go anymore. I don't know, but I fried a motor too last week.
Oh, man.
So that's where I'm at with that.
Oh,
It was a very interesting week, because when I first started that lifting mechanism thing, I'm like, oh, it should be like a 2-day thing. I should be able to get it done in a couple afternoons. Now, a whole week, entire week.
I feel
One
like
thing after another.
I feel like we need to go back and just like take out the clip of me asking Matt if there's something that could go wrong, and he's like, "Nah, it'll be fine. Nothing's gonna happen." And not at this point.
Worries.
I don't think so. It'll be cool.
I'm finding the jokes I made about a treadle-powered band mill to be somewhat accurate now.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe not the band mill will be treadle-powered, but the raise and lower mechanism is going to be, on a little treadmill out there running it up and down.
Man.
I got a new motor today. I got that in today. So we'll see how well that works. This is a gearhead motor, so it has a reduction on it. So in theory, it should have, regardless of if I had it in the right direction or not, it should have enough torque to lift it regardless. So now I just have to run that thing out there, get a new shaft for that and a sprocket for that, and then that should be solved, and that thing should be able to go up and down nice and easily, and I can be done with that. Otherwise, it's getting a hand crank, and I'm getting up on a ladder every single time I have to change the height, getting up on an 8-foot ladder and turning a hand crank.
Oh, dude. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it had to happen. Hey, I'm building drama, right?
That's right. Yeah. You're documenting it all. I mean, this is all good for business. As far as
Tons of steel climbing that ladder up and down.
That's right. Yeah. Extra
That's
benefit.
important.
Your wife will like that.
Jeez.
Keep you in good shape after the kids, it's important.
More babies. Is that last time? What was it doing last time out in the sweaty thing? I was planing some boards out for the tabletops. You guys were like, that's how the babies were made.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Well, this is the winter version of what helps you make the babies. Well, good stuff, man. Shannon, what do you got going on?
Well, I got stuck on one of those like spiraling distractions in the workshop this weekend.
Your wife?
I went out to specifically to tackle my growing scrap problem and just build a little like crate on wheels that I can roll around the shop, but also tuck into a corner because my planer is such a 900-pound beast. Even though it's got a making air quotes here, a mobile base. There's not a whole lot of mobile going on.
Not a lot of mobility.
So it doesn't really move around that much. It's more of like flip the pedal down and kind of wheel out a corner to change the angle of like outfeed rather than actually move the thing. So for the most part, it stays pretty stationary. So it's actually kind of a perfect place to put a scrap box that I can roll out and grab stuff when I need it and roll it back under the outfeed table of the planer. So I started working on that and then realized as I moved the planer out, wow, there's like a lot of dust back here. Where is that coming from? And it turned out the last time I changed the bag on my dust collector, I like didn't get the seal right. So like it's kind of like missing a belt loop on your pants. And the dust collector had plumber's crack, basically.
Oh man.
And there was just this jet of dust shooting out. But the way the dust collector is backed into the corner, it was like the perfect spot that I couldn't see it. Mm-hmm. So who knows what that did to CFM? I mean, considering all I ever do is use it to the planer, and the planer basically self-ejects chips at high speed anyway. So, I could have 4 cubic feet per minute and I'd still be okay on the thing. But it was creating like just this huge pile that was building up on the other side of the planer. So that took like 2 hours. Stupidly enough, I'm like looking everywhere but like how the bag was actually attached. I'm thinking it's coming out the hose, it's coming out of like the impeller casing somewhere.
Yeah.
Thinking the filter had a hole in the top, and I was like, you idiot, check the bag first. It's like checking to make sure it's plugged in. It doesn't work. Is it plugged in? That's what I should have done. Yeah. So after literally about 2 hours, I finally thought to check the bag. But again, because it's backed into the corner, and in order to get the dust collector to fit under my garage door track, I had to take the casters off of it. So it's not mobile. It doesn't roll around real easily, which only compounded the fact that it's in like the worst spot behind it, backed into the corner of the shop. So finally, I'm like dragging the thing out of there. The whole point of this is I did sell the dust collector, and I had to get it out to put the casters back on so that I can like clean it out and get it ready to give to the guy who's buying it.
Right.
But it was just ridiculous how just making a little scrap box led to cleaning up a bunch of dust, which then the OCD kicked in. And I was like, well, if I'm going to start sweeping and cleaning, I might as well like do the whole shop. Then I started moving plywood out of the shop, and I had some T111 siding in there, and moved that out into the wood shed. It was 8 hours was gone. And I have a gloriously clean shop with more floor space now because I moved a bunch of stuff out of there, but I got nothing done on the little scrap crate.
Yeah. So what happened with the scrap bin though? Did you like what's the story with that? Is it to your liking?
Wait, say that again.
The whole scrap bin. Sorry about that. What happened with the scrap bin itself? Is that finished?
No. Literally, I've got like the parts pulled out of the scrap pile to make the scrap. It's very meta. I've got to make the scrap
use
box.
The scrap to make the scrap box.
Imagine like a glorified milk crate on wheels, a little bit taller and a little bit bigger, but specifically kind of slatted sides so that I can see into it and see what's going on. But I specifically didn't want to make a huge big deal that's going to have a whole lot of space, because then that will only encourage me to gather more scrap. But more importantly, it's low enough that I can kind of very quickly stand everything on end and still see what's in there and kind of sort through it real quick. It's kind of hard to describe, but yeah, just really fancy milk crate on wheels.
Cool.
That just rolls around really easily. I think the biggest key is that it's not fixed against a wall or anything like that, so that I can roll it out and sort through stuff, pull out what I need, and occasionally pitch stuff. But yeah, it's it doesn't exist yet. There's several boards that have been set aside to be planed and sized, and I'll probably just end up using some cut nails to put the whole thing together. Mm-hmm. Nothing fancy, and then I got to go get some casters for it.
I want to know how it works out though, because I've got an alcove in the garage that I'm not exactly sure why it's there, but it's like basically I would say maybe 36 inches high. It goes about 4 feet deep, You know, it's got a pretty good width. And right now I've got like one of those Mateo's little motorized cart that he rides around the driveway. That's like his garage for it. So I'll be yanking that out of there. And it just seems like the perfect space to just, you know, put a scrap offcut bin that I could pull out as needed and push it out of the way. But I'm not sure how that giant bin of stuff, how that actually, you know, just practically is going to work out, whether you're going to it's just going to become a pile of crap, or am I actually going to be able to get to the stuff and use it?
Yeah. And for me, it was to avoid the out of sight, out of mind. And if it were like 4 feet deep, I worried that the stuff in the back would like never get,
you'll never see it
build up
again.
and build up and build up. So
Right.
the dimension of this thing is going to be about a 24-inch square. So it's really not very big.
Yeah.
And where I'm sticking it will limit the scrap to under 36 inches.
Okay.
Anything longer than 36 inches, generally you can start to get furniture parts out of it.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
so that has an excuse to go back out to the lumber shed or up on the near-term lumber storage in the shop. It's that little stuff, you know, because it's figured or because, you know, I could use this for a demo. And,
Sure.
and that was one of the other things I did this week. And I had 2 Skype sessions with hand tool school apprentices, and I was cutting tenons in one. So it's like the perfect reason to go grab this board out of the scrap box and cut a tenon on it to show how things are done. And then when it's done, it, you know, ends up in the fire pit after that. But yeah, the more complicated I made it, the more it was different levels to organize stuff, the more I realized that it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
It's got to be easy. It's got to be highly mobile, and it's got to specifically limit my hoarding tendencies.
Yeah.
If I make it too big, I'm screwed. So
Yeah. That's a keep it simple, stupid moment, I think.
yeah. I should have taken that theory to heart when I started investigating
Yeah.
the dust collection problem, but
Always look for the simplest solution first.
the crazy thing is like how much aerated dust has been shooting into my shop for, I mean, the last time I changed the collector bag was probably a month ago. So the last month it's been spraying dust out the backside.
Good thing I've got this half micron filter here.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
I'm
that's
so
the
safe.
irony. And you look at the wall and you look at like, especially now that it's cold outside and the heat's been running, the statically charged like dust smear on the wall behind it.
Yeah.
It's just terrible.
That's all that
awful.
that looks like the inside of your lungs right now, actually.
Yeah, that's good to know. I stayed in the
Yummy.
respirator all day,
Yeah.
which was actually good considering the temperature dropped from 65 to 30 in the course of like 15 minutes on Saturday. So
Nice.
that respirator was quite comfortable at that point. It's like having a balaclava on or something.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, let's get into what's new. Got a couple things here. First one is from Matt. He says, not this Matt, probably another Matt. He says, Scary Blades. Check out this vintage British boat building film at about the 5-minute mark. Very cool. This is stuff that I think would get our Matt excited. Giant
I was
blades.
pretty excited.
Like this, it just was like, sort of like a crosscut saw with, I don't know, the blade had to be 36 inches in diameter at least.
I think it's bigger than that. There's
yeah.
a guy standing next to it.
Yeah, I mean it's massive, and this is stuff that you know, I don't want to personally go anywhere near, but I'd love to watch a video about it. So, really heavy duty stuff that they're using to build these boats, and big resaws that they're using to just take these logs and 2-inch slab just falls right off. Beautiful stuff. So definitely check it out.
I think at Hearn Hardwoods, Rick Hearn has like this huge monster sawmill that he uses for cutting like 6 and 8 foot diameter logs. And that's what they use. They have an old Shipwright's bandsaw mill.
Yeah.
And the blade, like every now and then when they're changing the blade and happen to be up there while they're doing it, it always gathers a big crowd because
Yeah.
it's like, damn, look
It's
at
an
the size
event.
of that blade, Bubba. You know,
Yeah.
and people just gather around this thing because I think the width of the blade is something like 24, 28 inches wide.
Oh man,
And I can't even imagine how much it weighs, but yeah,
that's
there's
crazy.
like 2 guys are the only ones that are allowed to touch the thing, you know?
Yeah.
But it's so cool to watch that thing in action.
Yeah, I guess you get pissed when that one breaks, right? When you have to replace that blade.
Yeah.
That's going to be a bit of an
God,
expense.
Could you think about the force required to break it though? That's the
Yeah.
scary part.
Something-
like, what did you have to do to actually break that
Yeah,
blade?
something dramatically went wrong in that case.
Yeah. Like hopefully everyone's still alive
Yeah,
to fix it.
for
when it
sure.
breaks. So this next one's a little bit interesting. It came from Nathan, and he said, check out #whimsy architecture on Instagram. So I'm like, okay.
If you say so.
If you
I do
want me
random
to.
stuff like that, and I still can't quite figure out what's going on here, but it's cool. Um, I don't know whether it's Brian Gunther, his Instagram account, that's actually making this little like model building, but first of all, the photography is really, really cool. The joinery, imagine building like a pole barn in miniature, but the level of detail going into like the spiral staircase and the inlays on the walls and the individual like board and batten siding and just crazy and like timber frame substructure. But I kept scrolling back through the feed trying to find like the first post to see maybe he describes, hey, here's what I'm building, or here's my idea, and I can't find it. So basically it's just eye candy. Like go to Instagram and punch in like the hashtag whimsy architecture and you just get some cool eye candy to look at.
I'm going to do that.
There we go.
Instagram is great.
That's cool stuff.
Good deal. All right, let's get into our kickback. First one here is from Chris. He left a comment on the website. He says, I wanted to add a couple of cents on the subject of getting square cuts on plywood and such. I have the Festool track saw, which I use primarily for ripping my first straight edge on rough lumber and for cutting down sheet goods. Recently, I've been working with my woodworking newbie son-in-law to build a large freestanding cabinet desk for their kitchen. Since he's still short on experience, sort of an every time is the first time situation sometimes, he often has a problem with the track moving on him while he's making his cuts. So last week, I thought I'd give him a little insurance and use a little push me, pull you Festool clamps to hold the track in place. We ripped both sides of 4 boards to glue up a panel. It didn't matter in this case if the 2 long edges of each board were perfectly parallel. When we got done and put the 4 boards in place to glue them up, none of the cuts were actually straight. Each was cut with a slight convex curve, like the opposite of making a sprung joint. After a little head scratching, I figured out that the clamps had actually pushed the track a little bit out of a straight line. I guess I squeezed too much with the pressure onto the clamp, so I guess this long post is just to ask if others had the same experience and to warn others that this can happen. So that's interesting. Unless it's a really weird position that I can't get the track on there comfortably without clamps, almost never do I use clamps to hold that in place. But that's a really good point, because the way that their clamps work, they go into a small track on the underside of the Festool track, so that if you sort of induce some kind of a skew by clamping too hard, I could see how that clamp might force, at least on the both ends, force it in a certain direction, which would then cause the track to skew. So I think, yeah, teach the kid how to a kid. I don't know how old the guy is. Teach the guy how to cut without those clamps, because you really don't need them. You know, as long as you're not putting undue sort of pressure and force on it, you don't need them, and you can get away with it.
I use one, and it's funny because that was part of my spring cleaning in the fall thing, was actually cutting up some plywood that I knew I needed in narrower widths just to get it out of the shop. So I pulled out the Festool track saw to do a lot of that. And I figured since the dust was spewing anywhere, I didn't even hook up the dust extractor, which was not good. I shouldn't have done that. It was bad. I regret that now. But I used the little clamp on one end only, and then kind of use it to anchor one end and kind of pivot it up to my line. And it's perfectly stable at that point, but I could see clamping both ends, because when you twist the clamp, invariably that little part that slides into the track underneath is going to exert some torque, and it's going to want to twist from side to side, just as you twist the bar clamp.
Right.
So if you have them in opposition, I imagine you actually are like imparting bow to that track. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
That could get ugly quick.
Something to think about.
Good point, Chris.
All right, we got one here from Shane. It says, in the car planer, is it playing car video I shared in episode 333, the blade is from H&T Gordon, a plane maker here in Australia who makes exceptional planes. And if you're interested in a little behind the scenes of the process from tree to finished plane, here is a video he just posted.
There it is.
And we have a link there.
I see the link.
I see a link to something.
It's a beautiful link.
There's more of us.
Great minds think alike.
We found your replacement.
There you go. Watch yourself, Shannon. And if
finally found one,
he's got a better accent than you do, which means
that's true. That's true.
That doesn't bode well for you, sir.
More welcome color to the show.
Yeah. All right, let's get into our voicemail. Got one here from Adam, and he's got a question concerning uninsulated shop space and wood movement.
Mark, Matt, and Shannon. Good morning. or good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you guys do this. I did have a question for you. I am planning on redoing my garage so it's more shop-like, and the walls are, for the most part, not insulated. I live in the Seattle area, so it gets cold, but not so cold I can't bear it. So I was looking at insulating my walls, but it's not necessarily for me. It's more of a concern for wood movement. Would a more consistent environment be better for preventing unwanted wood movement, or does that even matter? Is the insulation, is that normally just purely for everybody's comfort, or what? So I guess I didn't even say my name. This is Adam from Seattle, Washington. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. And I think all of you guys have insulated shops. Would you guys be able to survive without, now that Mark's in the Denver area? Maybe not. Yeah, let me know. Thanks. Bye.
All right, Matt, you want to grab this one? What do you think?
Honestly, I'm more on like the camp of movement happens, just kind of plan for it and not worry about it too much.
Wood moves. Get over it.
I don't know. It's, to be blunt, I guess that's kind of where I come from, where it's going to move anyway. So just plan for it in your way of working and in your construction, and it doesn't really matter. Then it's not even a thought anymore.
Right. Well, I do think if he adds insulation, and we're talking about, doing it properly, having your vapor barriers, things like that, I do think there is, when the body is comfortable, chances are the wood's going to be more stable. And I'm not so worried about temperature as we are about humidity, but avoiding extremes is actually, it's probably going to at least stack the cards in his favor to not have to, worry about it so much. Now, he's in Seattle, so there's definitely going to be a lot of humidity, but at least having some level of, let's look at insulating the shop. I see it a lot like putting finish on a piece of wood. The finish will impart some stability to the wood by slowing down its exposure to certain conditions. So I kind of think the shop is a very similar thing. So if he does insulate it, it's, you still have to plan for this stuff, but I think he's going to have more incidents of, wood movement issues if he doesn't have a stable environment to work in, So I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. Shannon, what do you think?
Well, there's insulation to help, maintain the temperature, but there's also humidity to consider. Certainly as the temperature climbs or the temperature falls, the relative humidity changes, but I think what would create more of a stable environment would be a dehumidifier, rather than, certainly insulation, if it's poorly insulated, it doesn't really matter what you do because it's leaking like a sieve and you're now dehumidifying the outside air as all that stuff is exchanging. But I think just insulation alone, it's only kind of half the battle.
Maybe the first step.
Yeah. So you need to focus on dehumidifying as well, unless you're specifically piping heat or AC into the shop now. So there's insulating, but then there's also the climate control side of things. So just insulating alone, I don't think is going to do anything other than just make it more comfortable for you, which to Mark's point is probably more important than anything else.
Okay. All right, we got one more here. This one is from our good buddy AJ.
Gentlemen, this is AJ DeSantis from New England Woodworking Studio out here in beautiful Massachusetts. I gave you guys a few episodes off for my open-ended questions. Hope you appreciate that. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I have a direct, straight-to-the-point question for you guys this time. I'm being commissioned to build a large dining room table that I'm starting very shortly. And the tabletop is going to have a large chamfer on the underside to kind of give it that impression of more of a thin, delicate top, but still have the stability and beefiness to it without making it look that way. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to figure out the best way to go about this. I know I can do it with hand tools. I just don't know if I trust my hand tool skills enough to make it perfect and even all the way around an 82-inch long table. So let me know what you guys think. It'd be wonderful to hear your opinions. Thank you very much. Have yourself a wonderful day and wonderful episode. And also thank you, Shannon and Matt, for your input, helping me out to figure out if that wood I posted on that Instagram page a couple weeks ago was ash or curly maple. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
Nice of you guys to help out AJ with his ash.
Yeah. And thanks for not helping out, Mark.
Apparently, I was just busy doing something else last week. Is what it turns out to.
I don't know what.
I can't imagine what I was doing. We're just wasting time up here.
Nothing important, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. All right, so what the heck was his question? Chamfer, underside, chamfer, Shannon, you're a hand tool guy. What would you do?
Yeah. The first thing I would do is stop worrying about making it absolutely perfect.
Boom!
You got
Done.
a lot of real estate there. What do you say, an 80-inch long table?
Mm-hmm.
That is a
something like that.
heck of a lot of real estate. And if it varies slightly, who cares?
There's really only 4 spots it needs to be perfect, right?
Yeah, get
Each
that
corner.
'cause when you get the chamfers, chamfers at the 90 degrees, you're going to get that little miter line that happens when you get the chamfers perfectly even. That's where it needs to match. The rest of it, the other 79.5 inches of that tabletop could vary slightly and no one's ever going to notice.
Yeah.
So just laying it out, frankly, laying out and just, it sounds so simplistic, but stay inside the lines. Go back to kindergarten and remember what they taught you about staying inside the lines, at least when I was in kindergarten. Now it's like, don't embrace your line, go beyond the line, feel your whatever.
There is no line.
Yeah, and you get a ribbon for painting outside the line. All right, enough. But that's what it comes down to. I actually just did in one of my shop update videos just this last week, I talked about cutting bevels, and you can use a saw to kind of make depth marks along the bevel, and kind of gives you a guide to plane down to. So when those saw curves disappear, you're like a couple of passes to the bottom to that hypotenuse, if you will, of that bevel. And frankly, that's enough. If you've got your bevel gauge set, you just kind of run it along and go, it doesn't quite match there, and hit it a couple times with the plane until it does match. And you'd be surprised just how accurate you can be, but at the same time, just how unimportant it really is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a decorative detail. It's not like a joinery surface.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So yeah.
All right, if you want to leave us a voicemail, you can. You could just do that on Skype. Our username there is Wood Talk Online, or you can call us at 623-242-5180. We look forward to hearing from you. All right, let's get into our emails. First one here came from one of our patrons, Matt. He says, when using a Rockler single-stage HVLP gun, can you use oil-based polyurethane and dilute it with mineral spirits, or will this system not have enough power? Okay, I think you probably can. I mean, even if it's a single stage, it's just going to really spit it all and splatter it out there. But I think the more important thing to discuss here is whether you should. And I know some people do like spraying poly and oil-based materials. I am not a fan. And this is why it kind of doesn't matter, because when you're spraying that down on the surface, the oil, it's oil. It takes a long time to dry. So these oil-based materials, even if you lay down like an imperfect finish, it kind of just tends to flow together. So even if it's spurting out a little bit, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But that kind of goes more to the point of why would you even bother? Unless you have a dead flat surface and it's very large, right? And you want to get good coverage over a very large conference table or something like that, there might be some justification for spraying it. But spraying oil-based solutions just is problematic. You get a lot of drips and runs, and the stuff is just messy. The overspray hits the ground, and now you've got something that isn't drying quickly, just kind of adhering to the ground's surface. This is why I only really spray things that dry quickly. So your water-based stuff, your alcohol-based stuff, and anything that you might thin with lacquer thinner, all of your lacquers are good choices for that. But oil-based takes forever to dry, and it just is like not a fun thing to deal with, and especially with your equipment, with your gun. Cleaning it is a pain. You're probably not going to want to use it for anything else but oils from then on out, and you better clean it well, because if that stuff dries inside your tubes and inside the gun, that's not going to be a good thing. So I do think you would be okay. You probably would need to dilute it to get it to a sprayable consistency for a single stage turbine like that, but I think you should, maybe you have a lot of experience with this so you're comfortable with it, but for those that don't, I just think oil-based materials are better off avoided when you're talking about spray. So just my opinion, but try it out first. I'm done. That was a
just
quick
too
one.
lazy to clean it up.
That's a big part of it. The cleanup is a
I
pain.
like water-based in my spray gun just because I can clean it easier.
Yep, and I'll tell you what, dude, even water-based, I still try not to do this with, but lacquer, like a regular standard lacquer, you could leave that crap in the gun for weeks, and it's fine. And I did that. I did that accidentally, like right before we moved. I had sprayed something, had about a week or two where I was just packing up the house and had to ignore the shop, and I went back in there and cleaned it out. It was fine. I could have just picked up the gun, connected it, and sprayed it again, because it just works that well. And a lacquer thinner would dilute and sort of dissolve anything that may have hardened inside the gun, and oil-based stuff is just not going to work that way. So, anyways, who next?
Now you're done?
I'm
For
done.
real?
Hold on. I'm going to drink. Give you your cue.
All right, this next one here is from Nick. He says, what is the proper way to cut notches on inside corners of a board? Seems simple, but I struggle to get nice and clean and square. I bought a pull saw to finish the cuts, but I'm not very accurate with it. I am going to say there's a lot of ways to do this. Depending on how big the board is, it's probably going to kind of put you into the technique of the method that you're probably going to want to pick. Something smaller, I'd probably do that on the table saw with a miter gauge or a crosscut sled. Just clamp that thing to the fence and make your 2 cuts that way. That way you end up really nice and square and clean. Bigger stuff, you could use a jigsaw or a circular saw up against a like a speed square, or you can clamp a straight edge, whatever gets you there. With the circular saw, you're going to have that curvature of the blade to deal with in that very inside corner, which I'm guessing is what he's talking about with the pull saw thing. So I think with the pull saw, it can be a little bit tricky to kind of get them perfect. I know I haven't had a whole lot of great luck with it when I've had to do it, but I usually leave some material, then come back with a chisel and just kind of like reference it off the cut area that was done with the circular saw and kind of plow into the corner, and that usually ends me up with a pretty nice, clean, and crisp corner. That's what I have to say.
I like how that's how we have to end our answers. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, moving on.
All I've got to say about that.
Very good.
Too awesome. So yeah, I'll add to that and say, lay it out and stay within your lines.
Cut to the lines,
Same thing as-
chisel to the line.
Something will stay within the lines or something?
Yeah. I like staying within the lines. So this next one is from somebody. Oh, Mike. And he says, you have suggestions on how to avoid screws hitting each other when installing drawer slides on opposite sides of a divider. I'll be installing matching drawer slides on opposite sides of a 5/8 inch divider using 1/2 inch screws. I expect they will hit each other if the slides are lined up the same within the opening. Would you suggest offsetting the slides vertically, horizontally, or some other way of avoiding the problem? Now, this may depend upon the manufacturer of the slides you're using, but there are a lot of holes in those drawer slides. You're not supposed to put screws in every one of those holes.
It's a lot of screws.
Yeah, I think a lot of times there could be like 4 or 6 different holes in there. I usually try to put one at the back, one at the front, and maybe one in the middle. Mark is showing us some drawer glides right now.
With lots of holes.
A lot of times there's a perfectly round hole, then there's like an elongated hole right next to it if you want some adjustability. That is so that you can offset not the slide, but the screws themselves. So if you're putting them on opposing sides, most definitely if you drill into that same hole and the position is exactly the same, you're going to collide in the middle, and there's going to be some sort of disruption of the space-time continuum, which is just bad.
Yes.
So
you don't want that.
Offset your holes. I was just doing like a Google image search, and I was looking for like really, really high-end slides, and even those have like 6 different holes on the side, and then like the cheapo buy them off the shelf at Home Depot for like $5 a piece have like 8 holes in
Dude,
them.
I've
That's
got
what all
this
those
like
holes are.
IKEA style cabinet I had to buy here just because I needed something quickly. The slides in there, 19 holes per slide.
All right.
So you're good.
That's probably to reduce shipping weight. I think.
Yeah, I think so. It makes them lighter. Very lightweight.
But think about how stable that drawer would be if you put 19 screws in each side.
No more stable than 3.
That's true. It would be a lot heavier.
It would be heavier. Yeah.
That's a lot of screws.
Yeah, that's a lot of screws for sure. All right, good deal. Now, after this recording, we're actually going to record an email extra. And if you want to know how to get that, you can go to patreon.com/woodtalk and sign up for the $4 patron level. And today we're going to discuss manufactured doors and metal. And that'll be interesting. I'm not even sure where that's going to go. No one will know until we actually do it. So if you want to support the show, you can. You could set up a recurring donation, patreon.com/woodtalk. You can get yourself a Woodtalk t-shirt at twwstore.com, or you can leave us an iTunes review. Just head to iTunes, click on, search for Woodtalk, and then click on ratings and reviews, and give us a rating. We'll read some more of those next time. I didn't even open iTunes. Shannon, how about you give them the contact info, and we'll get out of here.
No.
Please?
No, I will not leave.
Mr. Defiance. He insists on sticking
refuse.
around. It's like a family member that won't leave.
It's Thanksgiving.
Right.
It's the
He wants
family
another
window.
piece of pie. That's the problem. Pie's gone, Shannon.
Folks, if you have comments, questions, topic suggestions, or don't want to leave because you want more pie, there are several ways you can contact us. You can leave a voicemail on Skype. That's Woodtalk Online. Our voicemail line is 623-242-5180. Or you can use our contact form at woodtalkshow.com/ wait for it, contact.
Boom. Nice.
I know.
Good stuff.
That's crazy. Finally, go to our website at woodtalkshow.com. You'll find this show, all the other shows, and you can leave comments in the notes there. Tell us what we did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have our own sites, woodwhisper.com, renaissancewoodworker.com, and mattcremona.com.
Wait for it. Nice. I like the dramatic pause.
The suspense.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
All about
What
you gotta
top
keep 'em
level
on.
domain is it?
If
You
you do the
never
same
know.
thing every time, they'll just hang up or hit the back or whatever. So,
Beautiful. Good stuff. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll catch you next time.
see you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Beh.
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 Bye bye.
Beh. Beh. All right. That was 337. Do the
Or
extra.
butt dust collector.
Yep. That's a good one. I like that. 337 extra now, shall we?
What dust collector did you say?
Something.
Plumber's butt.
Plumber's butt.
Oh, yeah.
Shannon's got a plumber's butt.
Or Dusty Plumber's butt.
That's
that?
it.
That's way
the one.
better.
All right. Wonder if we should record the weekend show first so we can keep the live stream going, and then we'll do the email extra after we shut down the live stream. You want to do that?
Perfect.
Okay.
I think that'll be nice.
That'll give my guy at your company more time to get back to me, too.
Yeah, there you go. Let's hope.
Ah,
All right, so 338 is the show, and what do we usually give for the date? We give it like Friday
Friday.
as the release date?
Yeah.
November 25th.
Is that what it is? Black Friday. November 25th. But I feel like if we're going to release a weekend show November 25th, while there's nothing wrong with this topic, is there any kind of topic we could talk about related to Black Friday or the holiday?
Yeah.
How about Black Friday sales? Just talk about that in general, like anything in the past that we may have taken advantage of.
I was going to
Sure.
say, if you want us to list Black Friday sales, I haven't paid any attention at all.
No, neither have I. But like anything that just Black Friday stuff that we remember from the past or big sales we took advantage of.
I think we could have a conversation about this.
Yeah.
That and it's kind of like a long weekend, so maybe you have any memories of being out in the shop Thanksgiving weekend while everybody's inside cooking.
Any memories of being trampled at a Black Friday sale?
Yeah, let's not overcomplicate it. Let's stick to Black Friday sales. You're making it complicated, Matt, and I'd like to eat lunch today, so stop doing that.
Whatever.
All right.
I'm out of here.
You're fired!
You clearly have us figured out. You don't need me.
Yeah, I've done this before. All right, let's do 338 weekend show. Boom and boom. It's a nice treat for anyone who's listening. They don't have to wait for the weekend.
It's the weekend now.
That's how we do it.
I'm your boss.
All right, here we go.
Welcome to Wood Talk for woodworkers by woodworkers. Now, here are three guys who, if combined, would make one hell of a woodworker: Mark, Matt, and Shannon.
All right, it's Wood Talk number 338 for November 25th, 2016. It's the weekend show. Let's get wasted.
What?
What do you think?
Okay, then.
That caught me off guard.
I figured it would. So it is Thanksgiving weekend, right? So today we're releasing this on Black Friday, and that means we're going to talk about Black Friday. And I don't know how much we have to say about it, but we'll find out. So Black Friday is, of course, a big shopping day here in the U.S., kind of to the point of ridiculousness anymore. It's almost like, I don't know. You guys.
On Thursday now.
Yeah.
So it's not even Black Friday.
Exactly, yeah. And it's the whole commercialism thing, and then there's the backlash from people who don't want anything to do with the Black Friday thing, especially if you do your sales on Thanksgiving. It's like, number one, people shouldn't have to work on the holiday, nor should people be out shopping, when they could be with their families. Then there's the argument that says, well, what if they don't have a family and they just want to go shopping, or they'd like to earn double time, income and actually work on that day? Let's not get into that. Let's talk about Black Friday's sales that we maybe have taken advantage of, or ones that are kind of like common in the woodworking world. So the one that comes to mind for me that gets the most attention, that turns into this like insane feeding frenzy, is the Wood Whisperer Guild. No, I'm just kidding. Is the Bessie clamp sales and the Jet clamp.
Oh, you took mine.
Right? Is there any Black Friday thing in woodworking that's bigger than that? I don't think so.
Probably not. Which brings up the point of like, what kind of profit margin do they normally make on those clamps that they can reduce them
Such
that
a huge,
much?
a huge reduction like that. So if you aren't familiar, basically these are probably the most expensive clamps. If you're talking about clamps that you stock up on multiple sizes of, these are incredibly expensive clamps. They're the ones with the big red clamping heads on them and the long bar parallel clamps. There are other brands out there like Jorgensen. Those are the orange ones. I'm sure other, sort of not so popular brands make them as well. But the big two that you're going to find for the most part are both with the red heads. That would be Bessie and Jet. And frankly, they're very comparable. I prefer the Jet, but if you handed me a Bessie, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. They both work really well. And traditionally around, Black Friday or sometime during the holiday season, they will put those suckers on sale. Sometimes there's weird stipulations, like you have to buy a cabinet, or what do they call it? Like a cabinet maker's pack where it's like 4 different clamps of different sizes. But usually it's very good deals on this stuff. And it turns into a frenzy. It like, they're posted online. Everybody's like, oh, they have them here. I watched, what is that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie with Turbo Man?
Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way. It's like that. It's Sinbad and the Terminator fighting over a plastic ball. But it's like the online version of woodworkers doing this, trying to get these deals. It's insane. Turbo Man. So
that was the best analogy.
Isn't it though? Yeah. So keep an eye out for it because it is fun to watch.
Other manufacturers have taken advantage of the clamp lust, and like you find like the Irwin quick clamps, like the Home Depot model, the little blue ones. Those have started going on sale. Mm-hmm. Like again, ridiculous. Like instead of the price being super, super low, well, it is technically, but they put together like a huge package. So it's like you get a 12 clamp pack for the price of normally a 2 clamp pack. And
right.
People. The funny part is people won't go and just buy one. They buy like 6 packs, like empty the shelves out, and it's like, what are you gonna do? I mean, I know you can say you never have too many clamps, but come on now.
Right. Well, you get them and then you
out of there with like a shopping cart full of those Irwin quick clamps.
Yeah, you could sell them full price after the fact, though.
Right.
See, and that's part of what, the problem with a lot of this Black Friday crap outside of woodworking, I would say. A lot of it just goes like to, these jerks that are out there reselling it for some purpose. So,
but I could say that I have taken advantage of the clamp sale because Jet did it last year. I think Jet does it every year now, and I'm the same as Mark. I have the Jet ones, and that's where my OCD kicks in. It's like, well, I can't buy Bessie now because I have Jet.
I wound up with them. As much as I like the matchy, I wound up with some that I cannot get rid of because they're good. They're perfectly good clamps, and at least they're red, but they are a different brand and they're slightly different. I can't bring myself to let go of them because they're really nice.
If they were blue, though.
If they're blue.
If they were blue, they're out of here. No, if they're blue, they have to be an F-style clamp. Everybody knows that.
That's too funny.
That is acceptable in F-style. And I'm actually on Rockler's website right now, speaking of blue clamps, and they have their, let's see, Rockler promotions right on the homepage. It says pre-Black Friday sale. Click here to shop all pre-Black Friday online deals. So this is the thing that's like nerve-wracking about it. So, okay, great. There's some pre-Black Friday sales, but am I better off waiting till the actual Black Friday sale? Like, is there going to be something better? Are these same things going to be cheaper? That's the problem with all these like pre-sales and all the extra marketing BS that surrounds this crap, is you never really know when is the right time to pull that trigger.
Well, I will give Rockler credit. If you look on their homepage, because I was just on here last night because I got an email from them, and they have their pre-Black Friday
That's a hard thing to
but
say.
then they also, it is.
It's hard to say.
They also have a button to allow you to click on and see the PDF of their Black Friday sales. Like,
get a
this
sneak
is
peek.
the stuff that is going to go on sale.
Yeah.
Now, my first question is that really all of it? Is there going to be some sort of special, like,
Surprise!
what's the term? Doorbuster, special doorbuster
Yeah.
deal that comes up. But, well, I'm talking, I might as well go. The thing that I have succumbed to in the past is the manufacturers that don't actually put it on sale, but they throw in something else.
Yeah.
And I will actually partake of that this year because, as you guys know, I'm selling my dust collector, and I'm going to bring that Rockler wall mount unit back into the shop because they now offer that filter, that 1/2 micron, whatever HEPA filter goes on the bottom. Rockler is not putting it on sale, but they're giving you a free $50 gift card.
Oh, okay.
If you buy it. So it's still the same regular price, but you're getting $50 gift card. And it's like, if you think about it, it's like, oh, that's such a great deal. And then it's like, that is so brilliant.
Yeah.
They just got you. I mean, technically it's $50, but how many times have you used a gift card and ended up like $57, $68, and it's like, well, I'm only paying 18 because that's the beauty of gift cards, and invariably you spend more than what you have on your gift card. So I'm thinking, well, great, I'll get this $50 gift card and I can use it. I'm always going to Rockler for things like glue and just random shop supplies type stuff. So yeah, I'm jumping all over that one just so that I can get my extra $50 gift card.
Yeah. No, that's not a bad way to go, man. The Rockler HVLP that we talked about in the recent show is $50 off, $99. That's the time to pick that unit up if you're going to buy it.
Yeah. Have you guys ever seen like major tools go on sale? I mean, you always hear about like the conference or like the show pricing, floor model pricing or whatever, but I don't know that I've ever really seen massive reductions.
It's not massive, but I know Powermatic and Jet always kind of do something. So like right here in the circular that Rockler put out, Black Friday deals are 10% off all machines and accessories for Powermatic, 15% off all machines and accessories for Jet, and then 20% off their air cleaner, which really, if you look at it, the Jet air cleaner is one of the best in the industry. And a lot of people use that one, and that's on sale 20% off. So there are deals like that, but I don't think you're going to be seeing like 20% is the max I think you're going to see for these Black Friday tool deals for the big manufacturers. Could be wrong, but I don't think they go nuts with them. How about Grizzly? Yeah. Let's look at Grizzly's website. So while we're doing this, Matt, anything come to mind? Memories of Black Friday sales of yore?
Black Friday it's kind of interesting because it's my dad and my like father-son time. It's always kind of been like that. So we'll get up early and we'll go out and it's not about what we're going to buy. It's about being together and just spending that time out there, just being out there together.
See, that's what you suggested at the beginning before we started recording, and I said, let's just talk about the sales, and you're doing it anyway.
I'm getting there.
I love it. No, go ahead. That's fine. I like it. I like where this is going. Nicely done, sir.
We always, at least in the last few years, we always go to Rockler and we stand in line before they open because like the first, I don't know if they're still doing it this year, but every other year, it's the first 75 people in the door get a gift card from $5 up to $200 or something, whatever the maximum is. Like one person gets that.
Oh, like
one year,
like a random
$75 gift card. Yeah.
No kidding.
You walk in the
Nice.
door, they hand you a gift card. It's a random out of a bag, and then you just who knows how much you're gonna get. Mm-hmm. So I think 2 years ago I got a $75 gift card, which was pretty cool. So and that year I bought nothing there at Rockler. I walked out with $75. Didn't spend money there.
Nice. You can't beat that.
That's pretty cool.
I made money on Black Friday.
Yeah. So it's still like a family thing, though, right? I mean, that's also one of those arguments for the sales is a lot of people as a family will go out shopping together, and it's just part of the holiday for them. They enjoy it, and there is a family element to it, even though it's in this commercial bubble, but it's still okay.
Yeah, we go to a few stores. We go like Rockler Woodcraft, maybe Home Depot, and maybe we'll pick up some small stuff. Like for like the last few years, like we bought a drill like every year. So I have like 4 drills because they're $100.
Yeah.
This is the time to buy a cordless drill, Black Friday, because they're
Yeah.
always like cheap or like
Yeah, no
half
doubt
off or
about it.
whatever.
So you think if you are going for equipment like that, is it worth it, to just say, well, look, even if I need this in April, I'm going to wait and try to get a better deal somewhere around Christmas time because it's always going to be on sale to some extent.
Yeah, I mean, with the cordless stuff, it seems like it's always it's repeatable and consistently on sale at quite a large discount at Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And surprisingly, at least the last few years I've been there, they still have them in stock like 10 a.m. and then 4 hours after they open, because they open at 6, they'll still have them there at 10 a.m. So even if you mosey on out of bed whenever and head over to Home Depot to see if they're still there, maybe it'll still be there, maybe it won't, but it's probably still going to be there because I think
it's a big
in
box
recent
store.
years they've been having more and more of the same style of product on sale at the same price.
Mm-hmm.
So in the past they might have one doorbuster cordless drill for $100. Now they have 4 brands all for $100. So it kind of spreads it out a little bit too.
But it brings up the point of, because now it's basically just the extension of the Black Friday madness. You've got your pre-Black Friday sales, then you've got your Black Friday sales, and then your small business Saturday sales.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the Cyber Monday thing
Yep.
that kicks off. And it makes you wonder, is there, it sounds like I'd never heard what Matt was saying, you get a bag with a random gift card in it. I'd never heard that before. It sounds like you still, if you brave the elements and get out there amongst the soccer hooligan crush of Black Friday, you could actually get the pretty good deals.
Yeah.
But, because I'm such a hermit when it comes to shopping now. It's if I can't click to buy it, it's not happening, So
Right.
I tend to kind of keep an eye on the whole Cyber Monday. And is there really a big difference, I wonder, between Cyber Monday and actually going out and physically going into a store and buying stuff?
Yeah.
Unless
I don't know.
experienced. I don't know.
But see, and
I don't
hate
have anything
lines.
but Home Depot and Lowe's. I don't have Rocklers or Woodcrafts around me,
Right.
so I've never been to one.
Yeah. For me,
There's a problem.
that's
Yeah,
true.
Maybe that's the problem.
Expand your horizons, sir. For me, it's like an aversion to lines. I want nothing to do with it. If we go to a restaurant and there's 2 people in front of us, I'm like, I'm out. It's I can't stand
Taco Bell.
right. I can't stand the concept of just waiting in line, and especially the doorbuster stuff. No thanks. So Friday morning after Thanksgiving, I'm in a mad rush to get to the couch. And not
Usually
worrying about the
when I
stuff.
get to Rockler, it's 5 minutes before they open. I'm still within that 75-person queue.
Right.
So it's not
That's not
too bad.
but the woodworking stores is not going to be too bad. But if you're looking at
It's not like Best Buy or something, or
trying to get your 42-inch LED, flat screen for $50, whatever the
there's
doorbuster
nobody
is.
camping out in front of Rockler. As
That's
much
right.
as Rockler would hope for that, they're not camping out.
You know what? They could pay me, and I will go sit there and post about it.
There you go.
Yeah.
They'd like.
They could be a
if Mac
promotion.
Cremona were there, they would camp out.
That's
just
right.
to-
Join Mac Cremona. Hey, speaking of Mac Cremona, I do notice that I've never noticed Triton in a Black Friday sale, and now they are after sponsoring you. I'm wondering if there's some financial issues. They're trying to sell off some inventory or something. Might be something going there.
Try and move quick.
Let's get this stuff out of here quick. This is the hugest mistake ever. And looking at Grizzly's website, it does look like they have quite a few machines on sale, but it depends on which ones you're talking about. Some of the discounts are a little bit steeper here. Like the 14-inch deluxe bandsaw, the black one with the painted grizzly bear image on it, regular $555 is now marked down to $465. And I'm only looking at what they're showing me on this page. I don't know, if you go to Amazon, for instance, everything always looks like it's on sale. So if you're seeing a price with a strike through, that doesn't necessarily mean that's what the regular price is. So I don't know if that's the case here, but $555 reduced down to $465, that's not too bad. But they've got a couple other things where it's you're saving $25 on it or something. It's not that big of a deal. But check it out. I mean, all this stuff is on their websites. It looks like they're not really pulling any punches as to what's going to be on sale at that time. So,
of course, then you get your holdouts like Festool.
yeah.
They don't put anything on sale.
Well, they just did that thing that had nothing to do with Thanksgiving or Black Friday. They just did that ETS sander deal. They had a new sander coming out, and they basically let people order it early at a huge discount. I think it was like $100 or something like that. And people just went nuts over it. That was almost as bad as the Black Friday clamp sale.
Right. Well, there's something to be said about when you never have a sale. throw out that one sale like once a year or whatever, it kind of goes mad.
Well, it's either the never, the scarcity created by never having a sale, or an expensive item that people generally lust after finally being accessible because it's cheaper, and I think that's where the clamps come from. Everybody, I mean, maybe not everybody, some people have different preferences in clamps, but who wouldn't love a wall full of beautiful parallel clamps just at their disposal at any time? But at like $40 or $50 a pop, it's a little bit hard for people to swallow. So when those are reduced by 50%, people are on top of it. Well,
see, I would just I have 1 4-foot section of track for my track saw.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to get another one to be able to cut the full 8-foot sheet.
Dude, they put those things on sale. Watch out. The people would be like spurting flames out their butts. They're so excited.
I can now make a 87-foot long cut because I have 10 tracks.
That's right.
Ready to go.
All the way down the block. Cut through my neighbors' houses.
Well, I'm looking at the Woodcraft sale flyer, and it's pretty innocuous.
Yeah, nothing great there.
A lot of shop supplies, which is that's good, but like, yeah, nothing really exciting here. On the sale. It's kind of interesting.
I felt the same way. I got that in the mail the other day. I'm like, there's nothing really here, guys.
There's a sanding pad for $5.
Well, but is it also where you are in woodworking at this point? Would the you of 10 years ago have been like, oh my God, I need a sanding pad so bad?
Right. See, I'm definitely not who they're targeting because now, well, first of all, because hand tools never go on sale.
Oh, you're not participating in the Lee Nielsen Black Friday sale?
Yeah, everything is regular price.
You buy 400.
Yeah, buy regular price.
Exactly. Get yours today, but it'll be the same price tomorrow.
Get it now or buy it for $20 more on eBay tomorrow.
Yeah. If you buy this plane, it comes with a free blade, just the one that it comes with.
And cardboard box.
Dude, now there's a good example. If Lee Nielsen had a Black Friday sale, and I guess maybe, I don't know what their margins are, but I can't imagine they're that good that they could afford to do those things. Maybe that's why they just never do. But if they did, holy crap. You talk about something that people lust over is those premium quality hand tools, and you could get one at 50% off. People would just lose their, what? It would be crazy.
I'd buy the whole entire thing. All of them.
I'll take every one.
The whole
just to have the display behind me.
Yep, and I'd be the guy to buy them and then go sell them on eBay afterwards.
See, in a case of Lee Nielsen, like, I don't think they could handle that.
Yeah.
Like, it's a small business that does production runs, and it's like I've heard of many people who have ordered such and such a plane, and like, all right, well, we're not going to do another production run of that for 2 weeks, so it'll be at least 2 weeks, and then we'll ship it out from there. And people are fine with that. It's the whole artisan tool type thing. But if they like reduce their entire inventory, I think
you wouldn't hear from them for about a year.
Seriously, they'd shut down for 6 months just to fill those, and then all the money lost on their regular income would not,
right,
not good.
All right, well, good stuff. If you guys have sales that you've taken advantage of in the past, great Black Friday stories, we want to hear about them. Let us know, and we'll maybe talk about it next time. And I think that just about does it for the weekend show. Shannon, you want to do some contact info real quick, and then we will go out of here, and I'll go see if I can get you a couple of slices of pumpkin pie.
Sweet. If you guys have comments, questions, or hot deals you want to share with us, don't do it, because by the time we mention it, it will be over.
Yes.
So keep in mind.
Social media.
Not going to happen. Yeah, there is also social media. Or if you want to register your conscientious objector status of the whole Black Friday thing and how you plan to make it divot on your couch and watch football all day.
Fight the power.
So there are several different ways you can leave those statements. You can leave a voicemail on Skype. Our username is Wood Talk Online. Our voicemail is 623-242-5180. Our contact form is at woodtalkshow.com/contact, or just leave a comment on the show notes of this show at woodtalkshow.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your Thanksgiving leftovers. Remember to pour the gravy in between the pieces of meat so it doesn't make the bread too soggy. It's very important. Thanks for listening. Pro tip. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
All right. Good one. That ran a little long, though. 20 minutes. All right. So much for short shows, Matt. Sorry.
I always love how we're like, well, I don't know what we're going to say 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
Good God.
I just pick a topic.
For real, I don't know what we're gonna say.
Pick a topic. We could discuss just about anything and make it
That was
last
a fun
20
one.
minutes. Yeah, that was a good one. I'm glad. I mean, not the other question wasn't good, but I'm like, nah, let's do something, that's thematically related to what's going on right now.
Yeah, totally. Except for the fact
Postcard.
that you deleted that other question and we don't have a copy of it anywhere else. So I
Oh,
just
shoot.
made something up in the
Is
next
there an undo
tab.
button?
Hold on. I might still have. Boom, baby. Look at that. It was my undo.
Oh, all right.
So there it is.
There we go. Here,
So
I'll pull it out of there.
If you want to just put that into next week's weekend show, we can do that. And I'm going to kill the live stream, so I wasn't watching the chat room. I don't know who's been watching, but thank you if you were. We'll talk to you later, I guess.
It's very nice of you to watch us.
Boy, my shadow in here is really awful now, isn't it? It's very.
It's like a different time of day. I've got the sun coming in the other window now.
Yeah, it's well past lunchtime. Is